FS Elite at FlightSimExpo 2024 is proudly brought to you by Pimax. Check out their Pimax Crystal Light right now for some of the best VR headsets available today.
Hello and welcome to another interview from here, glorious Las Vegas, for the FS Expo this weekend. My name's Jordan with FS Elite, and I'm joined here with Rick Miller from FlyInside Helicopters. A fantastic booth here. We've got some 3D projected helicopters here. Unfortunately, the camera won't pick those up. I hope they look as good on the camera as they do in real life. But hey, Rick, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Rick Miller. I own FlyInside now. I bought it almost a year ago now from the developer. I was the flight model developer for the company for a relatively long time. And then I saw we weren't really putting out enough aircraft. We should be doing more, and we weren't. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take it over and we're going to hire more people and make more stuff.
Nice.
That was the idea. So me personally, I've been a pilot since I was 14 years old, starting in gliders. Not that I like gliders or not like gliders, but I prefer motors. I did a stint with Eastern Airlines. I did all sorts of stuff, then decided that airliner travel was not for me. Takeoffs, landings, they're fun, but that en route stuff is really, really boring.
Yeah.
So I wanted a little more visceral experience, and I had gotten into helicopters early, and I had a Bell 47. G3B, which is, everybody calls it the MASH helicopter, but it was years after the Korean War. We are going to be putting out a D1 model, which is the one with the saddle tank.
Fantastic.
And lower power Franklin, though. They complain about low power in helicopters, but this is even less.
This is the one.
But that's the one you can fly backwards down canyons and listen to Suicide is Painless, which is the theme for MASH. So we did that first. That was 3 years ago.
3 o'clock Charlie, right? Is that
3
is that
o'clock
what
Charlie.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I'm an old man in a slightly younger man's body. That's all that is.
How do I sign up for that? I could use a new one because like this whole side's not working so well. Yeah. What is it? I have a pain on all the diodes down my right side.
Wow.
Yes. Brain the size of a planet. Okay. So after that, we decided to do the Jet Ranger, which is an aircraft I own. It's near and dear to my heart. It's I have an A model. It's 1966 serial number 171.
Wow.
So it is the lowest time Jet Ranger in the world currently. And Bell loves to sponsor me with doing various things because they can't believe it's still working.
Yeah.
And it is still working, has all its original components, except for the stuff that the FAA says we must replace, right? And it was their IFR demonstrator back in the day. So they owned it until the mid to late 70s. So I decided, well, I got to have my Jet Ranger in the sim. So we started working on that and recorded all the sounds from there and made it work. So that was our next foray out. And I didn't understand why, when Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 released, why it didn't have a helicopter in it. Because every single Microsoft product in the past had one, and we were all looking forward to it, and then it was nothing, which is why we released the 47, which was the first one functional. So then we did the Jet Ranger, and then just recently at this show, we did an announcement of 2 new products. That was both small experimental helicopters, and the rationale behind that was they're attainable. You can learn how to fly it in the sim and then actually go out and buy one, sit in it, and actually, now I'm not recommending you go direct from one or the other without some check airman to make sure that you can not kill yourself or destroy your machine, but you will be able to fly. It will certainly shortcut a lot of time, a lot of basic training.
So we're seeing that in simulators now, that 100% line between virtual and real world flying, but not level D sims. This is the home
market, without a doubt. If you can simulate the aircraft, regardless whether it's an airplane or a helicopter, if you can do all the systems, if you can do the flight dynamics properly, then you absolutely will be more relaxed when you transition to a real aircraft. Absolutely, there's no doubt in anyone's mind. When the FlightSimExpo guys, FSA, went and did Sun and Fun, our main thrust was, listen, simulators aren't just games anymore. They actually can be a real tool. We have our own flight simulator. It's called FlyInside Flight Simulator. That is a certified PC ATD. and I've been lobbying now quite hard. We got approval to have VR in a PCATD. Now that's because we're grandfathered in. I don't have to go through all the new stuff. But our next big thing, and this is the most important thing for people at home, is we are getting the ability to use Microsoft Flight Simulator's scenery generation as a PCATD. Now, how do we get to do that and nobody else can? Because when you buy one of our helicopters and you get in it, you are not flying Microsoft Flight Simulator. You're flying our FlyInside Flight Simulator engine without a head. So all the graphics, all of that kind of stuff comes from Microsoft Flight Simulator, but you're actually flying our simulator. So the FAA is like, okay, so wait, what you're saying is you're just using them as a projection system. Yes. So it's like when you do VR, you're just using that. Yes. So I think at the earliest end of this year, maybe next year, we will actually have a PCATD that we can get to the public, that they can go to their local FSDO and get a field approval and start booking time. That's the next step, and that's where we're going. So these little rotorways, one is the RW162. It's a piston powered, it's low power, so you got to really, really want to fly it nice. You got to be very smooth. And then some brilliant individual back in the day said, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we had a rotorway that had a turbine in it? So this company called KISS, we all know the common acronym, KISS, that's what they are. They designed a turbine conversion. So they take out all the belts and they put in a transmission and a shaft-driven tail rotor, and they gave you a little bit more power to altitude, but it's still only about 150 horsepower total. The turbine's from, it's called a Solar T62. It's from an auxiliary power unit. Works great, no problems with it. They'll run for thousands of hours.
And that's because of the simplicity of the design.
It's absolutely simple. It's a single axle turbine. It spins. It's basically got one big moving part. But if that one fails, it's catastrophic, and you buy a new one.
Not a very good glider.
No. Helicopters typically 3-to-1 ratio is a glider, which if you fly gliders, you know that's really abysmal. Yeah. So it's kind of beveled brick. So that's what we're working on. Coming out next, we made some announcements here at FS Expo. I think the one that got the biggest traffic was we're doing a Gazelle.
My personal favorite.
As is mine. I used to own one, and I have
civilian or ex-military?
It was an ex-military. It was a S41D, and we couldn't get the engine overhauled after we used it up twice. So that's the only reason I got rid of it. I loved it. It was a pilot's machine, 186 miles an hour. 50 feet off the ground, doing this, doors off. I mean, that was real flying. So we're doing one of those, and we'll do the civilian variant, the Stretch 342J. Which has, the giant 14, it's 200 more horsepower. I mean, that's a lot of horsepower in a helicopter. So we're doing that. We're also getting back to basics with the Composite FX line. They make both ultralight as well as experimental and a turbine variant. It's a single seat helicopter. They make them in the States. They've got it right. You buy it, you go to them, and you assemble it with them. So everyone is done right. And then they train you to fly it. So they're going to be using our stuff for flight training. We have a deal with them to supply them, and you're getting real helicopters. We use the logos. And then Enstrom Helicopter, which is just got bought by another guy who's put a huge amount of money. They have a turbine offering. That's their main ship right now, the 480. The military uses the TH-480 for training, and a lot of foreign militaries. So we're doing that one, of course. And then we're also doing all their legacy, the 28A, 28, all those. So, and with their blessing. They're giving us all the CAD files and all that, so it'll look perfect. And they fly right.
So it seems like you've got a lot in the plans.
Yeah.
How big's the team?
Right now, we've got 6 guys. I am absolutely on the hunt for more coders, more artists, more MSF, SDK friendly guys. So we can because we do all the systems. And like every circuit breaker works, every switch, and they actually wired properly, because part of the PCATD spec is it must function. It can't just be a switch that clicks. It has to do what it does in real life. So as you can imagine, in a Gazelle is a good example. There are a lot of switches, there are a lot of electricals, there's the start card system. It's complicated. So I'm looking for more guys, and we pay really well, right? And we're friendly.
Fantastic. So let's talk about your booth. You've got 4 setups here.
Correct. We can go out and look at them if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Come on. Watch your step. Right pedal. So this particular one here This gentleman is flying in VR, one of our new offerings. This is the Jet Exec. And this one is a little different from the rest of our stuff because it's a full glass cockpit and everything works the way it's supposed to. I'm not a big glass guy. I'm an old-fashioned steam gauge guy. So I get the feeling that you are kind of a steam gauge guy.
I appreciate both.
Yeah.
I appreciate both.
Look, moving maps. I got a moving map. I like it. I wouldn't fly without it anymore. Paper is a pain in the butt in a helicopter. So that's this one here in VR. Here's its basic specs are up there. Come and you get a bunch of liveries with it, just like we do with everything, and more to come. If anybody wants a livery, they buy it. Come to our Discord and give us a couple of pictures, and we'll make it.
Nice.
And once it's in, it'll come out in the next update. Fantastic. And then if you fly multiplayer, which we love, then everybody will see your livery.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So a real community effort.
We do our best. So if we go to the next one, this one is, this is a full 3D, 3D degree of freedom, but the Yaw VR guys, we're sponsoring them. Right now it's not turned on. They're doing some kind of software update. This is set up for the Jet Ranger. That's a Jet Ranger Collective. This is unique because it does this all the way around.
360.
360. And in a helicopter, if your pedals get stuck, you are going to spin around like a top. We do have a barf bag pocket on this side. So the Jet Ranger, near and dear to my heart, that's my paint job. And anybody can fly that. It's called Rix, which is not very inventive or creative, but that's what it's called. And there you go. It is probably right now the most realistic flight experience you can get in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Every emergency procedure, everything is modeled. So there it is.
It's a beautiful classic, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they've been around. There's 15,000 of them, and there's at least half of those still flying. It's a big market.
Incredible number.
This is another one of our new products. This is the actual Rotorway 162F. Your audience probably doesn't know, but I bought Rotorway, the actual company, from the Chinese, and then they got into some trouble, and they left the country. And my partner, Craig Seeley, who used to do all the IMSA and NASCAR engines, he had a 1 million square foot facility. We were going to do all the parts there. Well, he unfortunately passed away.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, a good friend. And there was no way we could supply parts to the company. So someone else created a new company with stuff that was in the building, and they just went bankrupt. So maybe it'll come back one day, but right now, the aftermarket, you can still get parts and stuff. But this is a piston-powered, 4-cylinder, 2-passenger experimental. You can do all the work on it yourself. And they go for between 39,000 US and 75,000 US, depending upon the instruments and things.
So relatively accessible for helicopter flying.
It's less than a second car.
Yep.
You know, and it will fit in your garage if you have a reasonable length garage. It's 27 feet long. So. And that's what he's flying right here. And this is a standard cockpit, right? Regular 6-pack. We will have an update for this to put, just like we did on our Bell 47, we'll give you a regular GPS stack and full IFR instrumentation, but that's coming as an update. There's some art that has to be done. Okay? And then here's my big classic. This was based on my Bell 47. This is the iconic 47. Right now, in this particular one, he has the IFR stack and the B8 grip turned on. That was an add-on. All releases, any updates we do to anything are free to every customer, always, forever. So when we did floats, we didn't charge for a floats variant. We just gave them away. So that's what we've got right here. And we're coming out with a G3B, which is the turbocharged variant. That's what I had. My ship was actually a Vietnam-era gun trainer.
Oh, that's cool.
So on my collective, it had gun, depress, and elevate. No guns, though.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. So, but it is what it is. And that's the orange livery. Comes with, I think, 40 or 60 liveries now.
Wow, impressive.
And that's our booth. Welcome to it. Come down and fly with us.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You're a busy guy, and it looks like you've got some exciting things to come.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you,
time,
Jordan.
and I wait for that Gazelle
Me
with
too.
bated breath.
Well, get in our beta test group, join our Discord, and make a request, and I'll put you in the group.
I'll do that.
All right, thank you.